fires nearly 200 missiles at Israel. Joining us this morning, Khansarinia is Vice President of the National Union for Democracy in Iran, NUFDI. Cameron, good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Shally.
You know, Israel, we've been hearing since yesterday, vowing Iran will pay for this attack. Cameron, we've seen this back and forth and this tit-for-tat attacks between these two countries with the intent for them to send messages. Iran last did this in April. What was different about this attack yesterday?
Well, what was different this time, Shally, was that this was the largest ballistic missile attack in history. Hundreds of ballistic missiles were sent towards Israel. The Iron Dome, Israel's defection system or protection system, unfortunately was not as effective as last time. Several of these missiles did hit Israeli territory. One fell within 1,500 meters of Israel's Mossad headquarters, of course, their head of their intelligence operations. One fell short of its target, unfortunately, in the Palestinian territories and killed a young Palestinian man. So these were more effective than the last round of attacks. And of course, the reaction that we're seeing from inside Iran is the same as last time, but their effect in Israel was much greater in this go-about.
The Islamic Republic in Iran has been responsible for the death and murder of hundreds of thousands of people. Some would arguably say even more. Yesterday, the Vice President Harris, called Iran a destabilizing force in the region. Many people saying, when is enough enough?
Well, I think that Vice President Harris was close to the mark, but not quite on it. As you said, Shally, the Islamic Republic is a destabilizing force and has been for 45 years. Iran, the people of Iran, are fighting against the Islamic Republic every single day. They make a point to say that this is the Islamic Republic in Iran, just as you did in your introduction, not the Islamic Republic of Iran. This regime has very little, if anything, to do with Iran. Iran, for thousands of years, has sought peaceful relations with its neighbors, be they Arab or Jewish, and even within its own borders, Christians, Jews, and Muslims have lived peacefully side by side. What the Islamic Republic has done is taken a nation of now 85 million people and its immense wealth hostage to pursue a radical end-of-the-world ideology, to wipe Israel off the map, to kill Jews, to kill Americans, and of course to kill Iranians. So what I think many people are now hopeful after this reckless action, the latest reckless action by Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, is that people in the Middle East, people in the world, the Israeli government will realize enough should be enough. Retaliatory strikes will not be sufficient. It is time to help the people of Iran to overthrow this criminal regime that has held them hostage and has frankly, held the region and the world hostage for nearly half a century.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that response in just a moment, of what could be the response from Israel and how the U.S. will be involved. But I just want to spend one more moment talking about the people in Iran, because I know yesterday we saw video coming out of the people, the Iranian people, chanting from their rooftops, saying death to the dictator. Their message very loud and clear that they do not stand with what their government is doing.
That's exactly right. And it's unfortunate because this is another example, of course, never here on Fox 5 and never with Shally, but some journalists in the mainstream media reported, for example, in the New York Times, that while these attacks were being carried out, there were chants of Allahu Akbar or God is great, that the regime supporters were rallying to the regime. This is merely another example of the Islamic Republic's influence and penetration of so many key influence circles in the West. The reality on the ground in Iran was far from that. It was exactly what you said, that as these missiles were being fired, and indeed some Iranians were killed by the launch of these missiles because the regime is so inept and cares so little about the people of Iran, Iranians took to their rooftops, mainly in the capital of Tehran, but also other cities, to chant death to the dictator and death to Khamenei. This is just the most recent example of the vast chasm, the difference we've seen between the people of Iran and the regime occupying the country and holding the people hostage. We've also seen many more examples. The hashtag Iranians stand with Israel is trending on social media. Iranians recognizing that this 2,500-year-old biblical connection between Iranians and Jews, Persians and Israelis should continue going forward, should be the basis of peaceful coexistence. And that's the exact opposite of what the Islamic Republic stands for. So in their street protests on social media, Iranians are showing that they are not this regime and they will not be defined by it.
Cameron, the world is watching to see how Israel is going to respond. And there's a lot of talk about whether Iran's nuclear sites will be targeted and how the U.S. is going to play a part in this response. What do you see happening in the coming days?
I think that the attack was so significant by the Islamic Republic, it's impossible to imagine the Israelis not delivering an equally significant response. Of course, I'm like anyone of Iranian heritage, it's painful to see your homeland and your people potentially on the receiving end of retaliatory military strikes. But this is what so many people have been warning for 4 decades, that the Islamic Republic's warmongering will get us to this point. It's going to unfortunately cost, if something like this were to happen, potentially innocent Iranian lives. And that's because Ali Khamenei and his dictatorship don't care about the people of Iran. So I think that it's possible that nuclear sites, oil refineries, parts of the country's national infrastructure could be targeted. But what I hope for, and what I think millions of Iranians hope for, is that beyond mere retaliatory strikes, that Israel realizes once and for all that it cannot control the Islamic Republic with retaliatory strikes. It cannot put the Islamic Republic in a box. As long as the Islamic Republic exists, it is going to try to destroy Israel. And their true response would be helping the people of Iran, who are the true troops on the ground fighting every single day, to overthrow this regime and finally bring peace to the Middle East once again.
And we'll continue to watch this developing story over the coming days. Cameron Khansarinia, thank you for your time.
Thank you.